Welcome here, everybody. This is the masterclass on selling online like a creative genius, which is also the name of the book I wrote. And I'm going to begin this now, so you'll be able to take away from you a game plan, a map to do this, to sell your work online. So raise your hand if you want to know what it takes to make a sale online this year. If you want to learn more about how other respected artists are doing it now, and if you yearn for a clear strategy that allows you to navigate the sales process without feeling like you're wasting your time, right? And all you want to do is get it all, right? Win it all without ever having to send annoying letters to a friend about your art for sale. I get that. And if you're sitting there wondering how I could help, how I could know, let me explain. I've spent 11 years interviewing over 1,600 artists and curators from all over the world, so I know exactly what goes on in an artist's brain when they're struggling to sell and share art online. This is me. I'm Brainard Carey, and I'm an artist, an educator, and a Yale University radio host and author of over 6 books. You see just 4 pictured here. The one making it in the art world is the most recent. But essentially, in these books that I wrote, I'm drawing on all those interviews that I did with hundreds of artists. I mean, well over 1,600 now, and which is a huge amount, right? And I asked them about, what they're doing, how they're doing it, how they're getting sales, funding, whatever it is. And so I'm going to share some of that with you today. So first, how do you know you're in the perfect place, right? The right webinar. Well, this is for you if you're a serious artist. This is for you if you struggle to sell your art online. And this is for you if you're absolutely done with websites that say they will sell your work, but don't, right? And this is for you if you're looking for clear instructions on how to sell your art online without selling your soul. And this is for you, even if you're not the kind of artist that sells, quote unquote, work easily, because your art isn't flowers or decorative, your work isn't for everyone. That will also work here. But let me start by revealing what I think is a painful truth. You've often been misled repeatedly, right? Insistently and shamelessly by marketers and websites that claim you can easily sell your work with them like any other product. But your art, and you know this, is not like any other product. Misleading lies like build a store online and they will come. And if you want to sell, you need to sell yourself. And probably the most annoying of all is it doesn't matter how good your art is, it's all about marketing. So that's what's kept you wondering what's going on, right? Spending money you don't have on websites, or worse, ignored, no sales, and thinking that you have to do something to sell that you're not capable of. Either you don't have the guts to do it, or the process is so dull and soul-sucking, you'd rather chew on rocks, right? But no more. Now you're here, under my care, under my wing, so to speak, and that alone should make you want to breathe a big sigh of relief, because I have proof of what I'm saying. So how will the next 45 minutes, a little bit less actually, change everything? Well, first, there's the reset button. This is where I will turn every single thing you know about online sales around, and you just sit there with a happy look on your face. And this is where you can take it all. You literally get to take my Praxis system for selling art without selling out and make it your own. So you never have to listen to e-commerce websites tell you why you can't sell without being an aggressive salesperson, which is a lie. And, this is insider information. So, prepare to be blown out of your chair and into a world where you generate online sales, again, without selling your soul. So here's my promise to you. You will walk out of this webinar knowing exactly what it takes to make a sale and how some of the top artists are doing it today. So you can start generating sales online, build a base of collectors in the next 12 months, even if you get a sinking feeling in your stomach when you think of sales. And the best part, you won't feel like a sellout artist who is only interested in sales. So here's some of the things we're going to go over and that you'll discover. I'm going to talk about a counterintuitive technique successful artists like Jorge Pardo use to generate sales and move forward without having to worry about an inner critic that undermines their efforts. the nuances of pricing, how much, where to put the pricing. And we'll talk about the price scaling secret that the biggest selling photographer in America, Peter Lik, who you've probably never heard of, right, uses, that makes collectors pull out their checkbooks. What never to do when you sell online, because this is how reputations are ruined and savings are drained. How to communicate with collectors of your work and encourage them without selling them to buy more, so you can build relationships, right, that continue to buy from you. And how the most sophisticated artists create automated sales and generate new customers by making what's called a sales funnel. And using this strategy, customers continue to come to you and new relationships are always being built. And why you need to teach collectors, remarkably, how to purchase your art so they can interact with you without any awkwardness instead of walking away, right? Because they're too embarrassed to ask about the price, which happens. I should also mention that you'll get a free PDF copy of my book, Sell Online Like a Creative Genius, if you stay to the end, which has even more information than what I'm talking about today. Different information, actually. So wiping the slate clean, let's begin with a reset. Don't we all need a big reset button sometimes, right? Why do we have to wipe the slate clean? So there's the danger of the wrong method. Trying to sell with the wrong method results in no sales and frustration. There's the danger of the wrong resource. Using the wrong resources to create a sales platform so people can purchase can be a costly mistake, wasting time on websites and promotion. And execution, the danger of the wrong execution. If your sales strategy is not executed correctly, you'll not reap the benefits that you should, and then sales don't happen. And you don't want that to happen. And, so here's some proof, irrefutable proof. Abby Ryan sold over 200,000 per year through eBay from her home in upstate New York, in the middle of nowhere, basically. An estimated $5.4 billion in art was sold online in 2020, and sales went up in 2021 and 2022 due to the pandemic because everybody went online. And in 2023, we're reflecting and building on that sales surge that's taught everybody so much about how art sells online. And the art market is changing, as it always does. And social media has now become the primary way consumers discover art, according to a 2021 study. The survey found that nearly a third of art buyers find new artwork via social media, which edged out museums and galleries as the primary source of discovery. But if you're still not, convinced, there's dangers that we talked about, right? That we're going to get into. When Donna Hammerstone tried to sell art using a website that had e-commerce capabilities, said it would just work, she ended up frustrated and disappointed in her friends and collectors because she used the advice of the website and nothing else. James Dolvin used eBay to sell his art, which is what Abby Ryan does, and grew angry and disenchanted because no one was bidding. So he stopped selling his art altogether. The important thing is that collectors still want to buy, only now they have new online tools, from Instagram to galleries, who offer online sales and even art fairs that are selling online now. So, it's a very exciting world for collectors, the options they have. The pandemic taught collectors of art that they can do it all from home and have everything shipped to them. That's a whole new idea. It's a new way of thinking about art sales that has influenced this year and the future of online sales. So the next time you blame yourself for failing to generate sales online, remember this: not all of this is your fault. It can be a difficult system to navigate with ease and without stress. Today, we're going to remove the stress. Today, we're going to move through that and create a system that will allow you to sell your art without selling out. So this is my method. And, I'm going to go through all of this. And just as a reminder, you will get my download of a book if you stay to the end, the book of Selling Art Online. So I have developed a strategy I call the Praxis system for selling art without selling out, which will show you how to generate sales online and build a base of collectors in as little as 12 months. Even if you get a sinking feeling in your stomach when you think of sales, I get that. This is a method that I've built that I'm going to break down, very carefully in the next slides. And this isn't only from talking to artists that have sold work online. I'm always talking to new artists who are successful, on Instagram and other places. There's always new methods that are happening. But this is also what's happening in Praxis Center, which is my online community that I founded and with my wife. And we created this system where artists are not only selling, but there's many guests, and we teach a lot of courses about building the art world, your career in the art world. So, this is a system that I'm drawing not only from talking to artists that have succeeded, but from the many testimonials and students in Praxis Center who are selling art, because it's also a creative process, and people tweak these models that I'm going to show you and do surprising things themselves, because it's truly a creative process. Most of it, or a good part of it is, in any case. There are other things that really have to be secured. So let's go through those steps of things that have to be secured. So building a list of collectors is the first. This is the step one that also has to be in place. Your email list is the most important resource and tool when building online sales. It cannot be a list of other artists and family, but instead people who are actually interested in collecting art. But most people have no idea how to buy or collect art. So the most important aspect of selling online is to build that list, which I'll talk about. But these are a few things that you have to have in place, which is an email marketing program. So MailChimp, Aweber, which is what I use, Constant Contact are three big ones, but there's many to choose from, and they're all more or less the same. They all cost about the same amount, under 500, over 500. The prices increase when you start getting thousands. But this is one essential tool that you must have, because it allows people to unsubscribe, it allows you to email easily, and it's just an essential sales tool that has to be in place before we get into all the things that are more detailed and a little more complicated. So once you have that email marketing program, you can begin to collect names in several ways. There's making videos, for example, about collecting art and how to buy from an artist. This is obviously something that would appeal only to collectors. There's creating a giveaway, which we'll talk about. There's writing small blog posts about how to collect art and buy from an artist. Only a collector would be interested in that kind of information. And once those are written, you can create what's called a lead magnet. And I'm going to show you examples of all of these things on Facebook and have people sign up for collecting tips or your giveaway. Meta, Facebook is also Instagram. These are all together in terms of advertising. And then they're sending a newsletter to your list and showing off your art. That's one of the sales avenues. And lastly, you can run an ad on Instagram or Meta to generate collectors automatically. That's part of an automated funnel, which I'm going to show you an example of as well, and is by far the most sophisticated way to bring in a consistent income and make sales. This one, I completed my recent commission portrait and the buyer was so pleased I received a 20% tip. He wants me to keep in touch. And so with a couple of others, I have the beginnings of my email list of buyers. There's so many things happening in Praxis Center that I won't show you all of, because I just want to give you this information. But members have their newsletters reviewed, from writing blog posts to pulling in collectors. So you have support the whole way and detailed attention to what you're doing. So now, interacting with those collectors, you want to write to them every week, or even less. It's up to you, but you want to communicate with collectors of your work and encourage without selling them to buy more, so you can build relationships. And that's often about showing them your process, right? You can use email or Facebook Messenger to dialogue with your collector who'll be asking questions like, I'm interested in that. So one tip there is to show them a page of your work instead of just a whole website where you might have 20, 30, 40 works on there. Show them one page, a PDF page, and discuss the work with them by asking which one is their favorite piece. And this is also for work that's higher priced, over $1,000. You definitely want to have a conversation. And then you tell them why that piece that they chose. You can say, which one is your favorite on this sheet of 10? and they'll pick one. That's an easy thing to answer. Oh, I like the blue one, or I like number 6. Then tell them why that's special. Compliment their choice. Tell them about how the work was made, the medium, and if it's appropriate, a message there. And you can offer them, payments as well. That's the beginning of a dialogue, which I'll go into another example of that happened to me in a gallery. I walked into a gallery with my wife, and there were Salvador Dali prints on the wall. We took a look around, didn't stay that long, and as we were walking out, the gallerist said to us, from quite a ways in the desk, excuse me, can I ask you a question? We turned around, said, sure. And she said, which one was your favorite, right? What I was talking about with a PDF. And so that was easy to answer. I looked around, I said, oh, that one, I like that one over there. And then she said, can I tell you a little bit about it? And so I agreed. And then I came in and she started telling me, oh, this is a special piece. This was about when Dali wanted to get married to Gala in a church, and the bishop wouldn't allow them to get married in a church because he was divorced already, and he was angry about that. And so, that wasn't evident in what I was looking at. She's helping me to understand something and unlock a particular meaning that Salvador Dali had with this particular work. And of course, it was very personal. And so that was interesting and engaging. And I was fascinated. And I said, thank you for that. And she said, would you like to own this work? I said, well, it's a nice print is what it was, and I like it. And she said, well, I said, but I'm not about to buy a work like this. And then she said, well, for those who buy this is a very special edition of engravings. Great people come to the private parties we have, like Mick Taylor, the mayor, and all these. And I was, made it sound kind of glamorous. I said, okay, yeah, but thank you so much. And she said, if you wanted this, it's $300 down. I said, what? And she said, yeah, for just $300, you would own this, and then we'd work out a payment plan for the rest. And it was $5,000 actually. But, for a moment, I thought, $300, I own it. It was really bringing me over the line of buying something that I wouldn't normally be about to buy. So you can use the case history I just told you, combined with what I mentioned earlier, right? Showing someone some works, asking them what their favorite is online, through even chatting, just getting right down to the collector conversation and how you would close a sale. You can engage them this way, and it can start by messaging, and then you can call to talk and finish the sale with the first payment from something like PayPal.me is a very simple way to do it. And instead of a gallery wall, right, they would be looking at a web page of art or a PDF document of your art, but just a limited amount. So they're not looking through like 30, 40 images. Then it's very hard to pick your favorite. And if they say, and this is just part of closing a sale, let me ask my husband or wife first, you can say, why not surprise them? Because you can always exchange the work if you're not happy with it. It's good to have some kind of policy where they can exchange the work, something like that. Shipping is not included, but that's great. I want to talk about a few other strategies, and then we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of Instagram and an automated funnel. But Jorge Pardo is an artist that makes paintings, drawings, also sculptural lamps. And he said he wanted to create the idea of a subscriber to a series of works that were not yet made. I interviewed him on Yale University Radio, which is where I learned all of this. And he said, some people like getting surprises in the mail each month, right? Which could be art. He said, why not? People do it with wine and books, which is even more popular these days. So he offered his email list a $600 subscription that would renew twice a year. So a yearly subscription is actually $1,200. And some people took it. And he said, for that subscription, I will mail you a work of art, a lamp that I'll make that I haven't started on yet, but I'll mail it to you at the end of those 6 months. So he offered his email list a $600 subscription, right? That would renew twice a year. Of course, you could do this on any amount, but it's exciting. People are getting something they don't know. The first year he got 30 subscribers. So that's $18,000, right? Times two, which means 36,000 a year he was getting. The next year he had images of what he was doing and it was taking off and he was excited. The next year he got 90 subscribers. 90. It's not like hundreds, right? It's not like the world, but that turned into a lot of money. 90 times 600 is $54,000. Times two, because it renewed, that's 108,000 a year. And he's being paid before he made any of the art. And people are loving it. There's surprises. So again, this idea of, he's teaching them how to buy, right? You can buy and you get a surprise, and this is how it works. But you need to teach collectors how to purchase your art so that they can interact with you without any awkwardness instead of walking away, as I was saying before, because they're too, embarrassed to ask the price. Collectors are often afraid to ask, how much is it? Because they don't know, but they think that might insult the artist. And, for all members in Praxis Center, this part of the process is made easy. You walk through it step by step, and each step is reviewed to make sure there's no weak links in your process. But, to talk about what that means to teach a collector, you have to make it easy to buy your work because most collectors truly are afraid to ask the price. One artist in Praxis Center had a visit by somebody who was wealthy to his gallery. He lives in the Midwest of the United States. I'm not his gallery, his studio. He wasn't represented by a gallery, didn't have gallery shows. So one artist, he said he sat down, guy came to his studio. It was the third visit, I think, to his studio. Afterwards, they went to a bar and he began talking about selling his work. And the collector said, you make it very hard to buy work from you. Like, what? He was shocked. How could he say that? Like, he just went to my studio. I showed you everything. But he didn't know the prices. And he didn't know how to explain to the collector that these are for sale. He certainly didn't use the method that I was just explaining, the physical in your studio method that the gallerists use on me, which is your favorite. And then, oh, that one, let me tell you more about it. And not only did that gallerist that I was telling you about, kind of unlock some things in it, but she was also asking me questions, as this artist can do and any artist can do, like, that's great that you like that. That's one of my favorite paintings. And you can ask them a question. What is it about this painting that you like? Is it the colors or is it something else? And they'll tell you, and then you can continue to compliment them and they're getting involved. You're teaching them not just how to buy, but how to look, how to understand why they're drawn to it. Because it's very abstract, right? Why people are drawn to something. And so, and then of course, like her, well, this work is for sale. It can be yours for $200. $200. Well, the price is $2,500. But if you want to pay it in a down payment system, it's one of the things I offer. And, you can also return it, with shipping if you don't like it in 60 days or forever. You can do whatever kind of policy you want. Some artists say you can always exchange it for life, for something of the same value or higher, not including shipping. So, that's one method of that's like the brass tacks of like how to make that sale. But let's talk about the nuances of pricing. Your prices for original works of art, like paintings, drawings, sculpture, installations, murals, commissions, should be based on what you sold something for in the past. And even if you haven't made sales in the past, it should cover your expenses and shipping and pay you at least an amount that you'll feel comfortable accepting, if you want to start out low. However, there's much more to pricing techniques. This is also someone from the UK doing a portrait commission. She said, make me an offer. She said, usually I talk down any price and practically give away my work. This time I kept quiet and was offered double the price I had in mind. To top it all, yet another commission was discussed. Thanks, Brainerd, for your support and advice, which gave me confidence and belief in my work. Because, it's important that they engage that way. And, when they're buying from you, there's different nuances, but it's important important that if they're giving you a down payment, you can decide whether you want to give that to them when their payments are done, which is, a really secure way of doing it. When the payments are finished, I deliver the work. You could give it to them before then, but that's a little more risky. I would wait till the payments are done. As Misty said, the show was a great success. She had folks who wanted to buy, and she watched the lesson on how to price. First piece I sell is going toward a new website. So where to put pricing, right? On each image, in a separate page. Galleries rarely list prices on paintings, but if you ask at a gallery, you'll be handed a price list on a page in most cases. And price on request, especially with galleries, is standard because you want to allow interest, right? And a price too low can drive a collector, just as a price too high can drive a collector. So there are exceptions. There's, it depends how you're doing it. And again, there's a number of exceptions here. So the rule of not having prices listed everywhere on your website or blog is the following. eBay sales or online auctions obviously have the price listed. Print editions or multiples have the price listed. And special editions that benefit a cause have the price listed. So let's talk about price scaling for editions, because this has always been popular in the art world and takes advantage of a number of things psychologically. So photography and print editions of any kind, there's a tried and true sales method that most galleries and artists use. For example, in a limited edition of 100 prints, photographs, or digital work, the price scaling could work like this. Prints 1 to 20. So again, let's say there's 100 prints. Prints that are the first 20, 1 to 20, are sold for $150 each, let's say. Then prints 21 to 40 sell for $200, quite a bit more. Prints 41 to 60 sell for $300. Now it's double what the initial print sold for. Prints 61 to 80, $450 each. Prints 81 to 100 are now $600, 4 times what the original print was. And the reason for this method is that if you're the first to buy the print, well, you're getting a good deal, right? You're aware that you're taking the first one in on this and that the prices will go up. It also encourages you knowing that the first 20 people are going to get this, but as soon as people start buying it after 20, your print is literally worth more money now. Now it's worth $200. If the whole edition sells out, you have a print that's worth 4 times what you paid for it. Peter Lik is one such artist that uses this method, and galleries use this, but he used this to kind of quite an extraordinary degree. He doesn't have a gallery. He rents out spaces, pop-up spaces, has his own galleries, and his own storefronts, and he sells them himself. He actually sold this print, which is why the New York Times and many people were writing about him. This is a color version of something called Phantom, which he says is the most expensive photograph ever sold at $6.5 million to an anonymous collector. Now, just like his scaling, he uses this scaling, method. He knows that by selling one work for this amount of money and the collector buying it, that he'll get press all over the world, and he did. And it also makes that collector's work worth more money, right? It's gone up. Kind of a simple but very effective method that's been used in the art world for quite a long time. So you can also offer a money-back guarantee, which takes all the pressure, right? Because it's hard to buy art and people are often not sure. It's not like buying jewelry or something else where you know the value of this more or less. Art, people are always doubting, is this the right method or not? Should I buy this? Offer them a money-back guarantee, all your money back, except the shipping if you don't like it. Or you can do a version of that. Say live with it, see how you feel. Most people don't return works of art. And again, shipping is not included. And you can also offer them, there's different methods to this. Some artists say you can always exchange this work anytime, anytime in the future. No limit on that, as long as you buy up. In other words, you can exchange this for something that's the same price or more. You can't exchange it for something less and get money back. Some people say if you're going to exchange it in the future, it has to be something that's 50% more, but have some kind of a policy, because this is, again, what makes the buyer feel comfortable. So the methods I've discussed so far are using your own website to sell your art, as well as dialoguing through Messenger and the phone to close sales, right? Classic ways that dealers are selling art. But what about Instagram, eBay, and other platforms? Abby Ryan sells over 200,000 a year on eBay. Her method is simple. She posts a small painting. It's a 4x4-inch painting on a wood panel every single day. That's not an easy thing to do, post every day. She teaches at a local high school. She got a method together. But after almost 2 years of posting and a lot of people not bidding, she's reposting and reposting. She started selling each one slowly for about $600. She does it all through eBay. So, then as it grew up, because eBay, just like any auction house, slowly builds a market for your work. And so suddenly she's selling them for all around $600. Well, that's an income, and then other people are writing about her because, as I am, because it's remarkable what she's built, and other artists could do that as well. Instagram, it's a lot of artists doing things on Instagram, and I'm going to go through a few actually. Ashley Longshore sells paintings for upwards of $20,000 each. And her method is different than the one I'm going to break down, which is all online. Her method is press releases saying, I don't use galleries, Instagram is the way. But she does it through phone calls, because $10,000, $20,000 is a lot of money. She tells people when something's about to be sold, hey, everybody, there's going to be a drop of a painting this Friday. First person to call me, make a deal, gets it. And, she tends to be kind of bold and outrageous, and that also helps too. She gains followers. Here's someone in the class who said, Praxis Center said, I just want to share that I've had 967 downloads of my book. Thanks to everyone who's downloaded it. So she created an ad, had a download of a book. She creates these kind of icons, really beautiful work that's, using ancient techniques, working on panel, and by giving away a book, she's getting downloads. It's 967 emails now of people who like her book, which is just an online produced book, and would be interested in her work. So there's an inner circle, really, right? Remember the story I told you of the gallerist trying to sell me a Salvador Dali print? She mentioned Mick Taylor. I wasn't even sure who it was, but it sounded glamorous, who owns a print and might be at the exclusive parties you'll be invited to in the future. So your Mick Taylor could be a friend who's known, a local hero, sports player, or a political figure like the mayor. You could give them even, an award or something, or just ask them to be there. And they could say that they're going to be there or host, but they may not even be there, but it helps drive people to feel that they're in a somewhat glamorous scene. So again, as a member of Praxis Center, you get feedback on this critical step, which includes a review of your pricing structure, how the work is sold, so that the buyer feels he or she is getting a great deal. And, you can also do all of this on your own. But if you want questions answered and guidance every step of the way, Praxis Center has your back. Now I want to get into the most sophisticated example of this, where things are automated and you're not going through quite as many steps as I mentioned before, because you understand steps 1 through 3 that I discussed about having an email marketing program and the other 2. But there's more details in those steps, but I have more ground to cover, and I don't want to keep you here all day. We're almost done. But you understand how and could use the methods I described. The next step is making it happen automatically. So with all the steps I mentioned, the result you want is essentially this: to get a customer to text you or send you a message through Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp, or whatever messaging app you prefer, or they simply just purchase. But messages you want, if the work is, thousands and thousands of dollars, you could sell prints without even meeting them or messaging. You want people to be asking you every day about the price of something or another question about your art. You're doing this all online from home, of course. A message or inquiry is what's called in sales terminology a warm lead. people who are interested. So here's some mistakes to avoid. The biggest mistake you can avoid at this stage, because automation is what everyone wants to get to, so sales keep coming in. The very biggest mistake is this: to pay for ads on Facebook or Google to develop warm leads without doing steps 1, 2, and 3. You don't need to do it long. Even if you have 0 people on your list now, in 3 to 6 months, you could be doing 1 to 3, and in 6 to 12, you could have sales coming in automatically. This is an advanced technique. So let me show you an example. To be really clear, the lead magnet, as it's called in advertising lingo, is an image or text of some kind, right? So you build a list of collectors using a collector info or giveaway that I discussed earlier. You engage those collectors with a newsletter or that highlights one work, and then you close the sale. Now, automation means these things happen automatically through online ads. The ad is your lead magnet, as they say, that starts the process. You're going for a walk or making art while all this is happening automatically. So let's just step back for a bit, because I know this is a little more complex. Automation is called a funnel. And here's what a typical funnel looks like. There's a lead magnet, which is an ad, a giveaway or tips or just an image. That gets you their email, or they message you or likes your ad. Then there's a pre-written newsletter email that's sent to them, or a retargeted ad. Inquiries about buying then come in regularly. Sales are closed online and shipped. So at Praxis Center, you have tutorials about building a funnel, and there's an expert in the classroom that can answer all of your funnel questions. You can do this on your own as well, but the complexity of automating sales is often intimidating, and Praxis has you covered with support of any question you have. So I'm going to get into some examples, but the last thing is the business mindset, right? Setting up for sales, taking it all very seriously. So attitude and even mantras really help. And watching, the competition, which means other artists, heroes of yours that you like that are doing well. So setting up for business means having all the basic parts in order. Your email service needs to be activated so people can sign up to your list easily. Ads that reach an audience that is interested, and the ability to close the sale and receive payment. So the essential tool of anyone trying to make a sale is attitude, and how to reprogram negative voices or internal challenges when you face adversity, right? That's really important. Watching the competition as your heroes. Who are they? Who's selling online and how are they doing it? Individual galleries do it. You can watch them, but artists are doing it. All businesses watch and learn from others. So let's look at one that's happening right now. This is a friend, and look at his Instagram account. These are screenshots from my phone. He's got 218,000 followers. And this is a sale he's doing for Valentine's Day in his bio. You can use this at checkout. This is a post he did recently for 2022 stats as an artist. He sold 48 original paintings. He got 8 commissions. He sold 1,427 prints, and he got 30,000 new followers. Take a look at his profile here a bit. He's got a shop. You can message him. You can email him. Let's get into what he's doing here a little bit, because he broke down everything for me, right? There's an automated funnel here that he's using. Posting an ad of his art to generate more likes, which are collectors. And then his sales process on Instagram is very smooth. There's just a few clicks to make a sale. On his Instagram account, he built a shop. Instagram walks you through that. But a few clicks to make a sale is really critical, right? If people have to look around and make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clicks, you're losing them. The reason Amazon does so well is it's click, 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 and the sale is done. You're on to other things. So first is just view shop, right? You're on his Instagram, you like his work, you view the shop. Now, one thing to talk about how he's learning all of this, right, is, and the reason he's gotten this kind of attention is, these are artists that I'm watching that he's watching that have gained over 10,000 in the last week. This one gained 24,000. This artist gained 17. This artist gained 16, 13, 13, 14, 11. These are artists that are really doing something right, right? So it's helpful to see which accounts are growing. And what am I counting as an art account? I'm including any account whose primary focus is creating visual art. What's hot out there? Reels, yeah, but also strong single photo posts with good search term relevance can absolutely own certain topics and get tens of thousands of likes. Do followers correlate to better art? I should let you be the judge of that, but I'll say that these accounts took off for a valid reason. Something in their content was resonating with people. So, okay, here's the artist that I'm talking about, right? You click on his shop, which is built through Instagram. And these are phone screenshots because everyone's doing this on their phone in almost all cases. And then you begin seeing his paintings, right? This one says $59, right? These are prints that he's selling first and foremost. And this is his 3-click process to a sale. So if you click on this right here, you clicked on the, his store, right? Which was view shop. That's 1 click. There's the shop. Another click, 2, and then view on website, 3. You can add it to your cart. 3 clicks and you can purchase this, a print. And the website he's using, by the way, is Squarespace. Squarespace, there's many websites, but Squarespace is a pretty elegant site and it keeps all the sales on your site as opposed to it going somewhere else. So let's look at what kind of ads he's running. This is one ad. It's just for likes. This is an ad you run just for likes. See, he has 21,000 people liked this. Here's another ad. My Valentine's sale is on, and these are sales. This is just for shopping, right? So there's different types of sales you can do, of course. Different types of ads. But once it is set up, followers are added automatically every day and sales come in on autopilot. On his print sales alone, which are $59 each, that means he earned $86,553 in sales in 2022. That's a nice chunk of change, right? So that's really breaking down one account. I could have gone into all of those accounts, but I don't want to keep you here all day. So now you understand a bit about this method, right? That has all these elements in it, including very sophisticated ones, which you don't have to go that far. But I know, maybe your head's exploding, right? This is a lot. And maybe it sounds a bit out there. So I want to introduce some Praxis students because here's a few videos that students made to talk about how they use the resources to get grants, to sell art, to find patrons in galleries, to polish your online presentations and website. Crystal is in the UK.
I'm Cristal Fischetti. I'm a London-born artist and I do abstract painting. I used Brainerd's Praxis Centre for quite a few years while I was based in LA, and it was incredibly helpful for me as an artist and how to approach galleries and museums even, and acquire patrons in a way that wasn't they weren't going to say no. And it was just so incredible for my career. I have more confidence now. I'm currently back in London and I'm doing my MA, which I'm really excited about. And honestly, Brainerd has been so incredible and so helpful and communicative with me and with all of the artists. And I really highly recommend his service. Thank you, Brainerd.
And here's one more. Jonathan's in Florida.
I'm the artist Jonathan Herbert. I have benefited greatly from the courses and the community of Brainerd Carey's Praxis Center. I have moved forward in terms of exhibits, sales, grant applications, social media marketing, and press. These major breakthroughs I credit to the courses and community of Praxis Center and my own hard efforts. The unparalleled resources of Praxis make it the one-stop resource for artists to move their art out into the world. I am one happy customer.
Here's one more. This is Jeannie Motherwell. Maybe you recognize the name. Her father was Robert Motherwell, and her mother was Helen Frankenthaler. Whoops.
Hi there. My name is Jeannie Motherwell, and when I was applying for a Guggenheim last year, the resources and ongoing support I received from Brainerd Carey's Praxis Center, as well as the community of artists and the courses that were offered to me, were invaluable in giving me the necessary tools to complete and submit a comprehensive application. I continue to paint and exhibit in several galleries, and I think Praxis Center is a wonderful resource for artists at all levels of their studio practice, from emerging to mid-career and to mature. I can honestly say it's a wonderful community and resource for artists.
So how much time does it take, right? Typically, an artist in Praxis sees progress in a year, rapid progress, just working at this 30 minutes a week. Right? It's not about spending all your time on business stuff. It's about organizing. So you spend as little time as possible on professional presentations and spend more in the studio with people that you like. Now, I'm not going to read this one out, but Kate had to deal with health issues. She taught part-time, 6 days a week, so she had limited time. And yet, less than a week after joining Praxis, she had an invitation from one of the more prestigious galleries in DC to have a weekend show. Intention, plus 30 minutes a week. It's as easy as following a recipe for making instant ramen. For example, you get video walkthroughs and questions answered every step of the way, as well as examples to follow. All you have to do is fill them out. It's almost all done for you. And you get personal feedback from me, right? I will personally review your website, give you tips on how to make it look its best for the sales structure you're working on or a curator presentation. And all this happens through private networks. This is how it looks like when you're getting a video from me. So as I was saying, this is a way to get your website reviewed in person, send you Facebook group, and I'll give you a video like this.
Hey, Larry. Thanks for submitting the questionnaire. I just wanted to give you some feedback. And
it's direct, it's personal. You can even reply by video to me through the software that I have, and I can reply back to you through video. I'll visit your studio. Right? What does that mean? That means through Zoom studio visits, which we do in Praxis Center, no matter where your studio is in the world, because nowadays, you know, curators are doing Zoom studio visits like crazy. Galleries are doing it. So it's a great way to show your work, but there's technicalities to it that are important to get over. So this is how and I'll just show you the beginning of a way of one artist doing it. Right here.
And let's talk about your studio and what you have in it. Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles, where all the rock stars used to live in the 60s. And it's a little tiny community in LA, 2-bedroom. I'm a single parent of a child with Down syndrome. And if he's not with me, he's with his dad. So luckily I co-parent. And when I'm not with him, I make stuff. So this is it's like a sunroom that I've taken.
So you see, she's showing her studio with a laptop, and she's doing it in her house. She doesn't have like a traditional studio. This is one of the ways of having a studio visit. But in Praxis Center, you know, we're there to help you do a great studio visit. Because even if you have a really messy studio or it's only your kitchen table, you can do it with a screen share. There's a lot of other options in terms of studio visits. And all it takes is to have faith, right? The faith I'm talking about is the faith that others have in you, because when someone supports your work, begins buying it, sales, they believe in you, they believe in your work, and, you know, it helps you to, you know, support yourself more when you have that kind of belief. And those who have that kind of faith and take the leap are rewarded with exhibits and patrons and grants and press and sales, because they're believing in it, right? They're believing in you, and that makes you believe in you. Here are just some examples of Praxis Center. People are raising money. They're doing all kinds of things. Lynette just sold work for $1,200, a print. Laura got $1,500 using a letter. You see what they're doing here. You know, these are people raising monies. Hope London, she's in Scotland. got a lot of press. We work on press releases there. Barbara Peacock sold 5 prints to a collection, and she was selling those for over $1,000. Lance Jackson got $400 in donations. There's so many things to do, right? Linda Braun said, now using the sale for advertising, right, because she was doing it wrong the first time. It seals the contact, and sale was made due to sending my blog out. Woke this person up. He denied the discount I was offering. He's become aware of the tight fix artists are in, he said. Gotta love it. Sales. So if you want to wake up to automated funnels sending you a message from 5 interested in buyers, or start your day by making art instead of business stuff because several sales came through, or that patron covered expenses, have a Zoom meeting with a collector who wants to talk about a commission, and go to bed satisfied, right? Gratified and feeling like you're getting the recognition you deserve in the art world. Go through a week with more time in the studio, less resentment in the art market, because other people are believing in you and proving it by buying work or being a patron, right? I want that for you right here and now. So let me introduce Praxis Center VIP Edition. This is everything you need to make it in the art world in one place. A lot happening in here. Classes, personal support to navigate the art world and sell your art. There's 9 online courses so you can learn how the art world works from the comfort of your home at your own pace without paying for travel and lodging. There's a new updated online sales course about developing a list of collectors. This is what Noelle had to say. So excited to sign up. It's already helping me get really organized. Love how you break down the writing parts with assignments, examples, and challenges. And other people are saying things. This, I like this too. I just started. Same, just started. These are the classes. Getting your art exhibited is step-by-step about, how to approach galleries, letter templates, word-for-word scripts to call them, and a virtual classroom where you can ask questions and get feedback. Grant writing, how to find, write, and win grant applications. By the end of the course, you have a completed grant. Artist statements, bios, press releases, how to write yours so grant agencies, galleries, and journalists can't help but call you back. And an editor, a professional editor, helps you with it. Remember I sent this in the emails. What advice would you give this artist who says, a gallery asked to represent her in Paris, which I'm excited about, but this takes me to 3 galleries, which I'm new to. They each have 10 paintings. My question is, I have my own website, social media. I'm on Singular Art, Artfinder, Saatchi, Art, and Art Majour. I feel like I'm spreading myself too thin. Do you think I should cut down? What do you think? Do you think she should cut down on these platforms or do something else entirely? I would suggest cutting down on the platforms, focusing on one platform to sell work, and ideally your own. Social media and website design is another class, that's where I also give you personal feedback. I send you a video where I'm saying, hi, Mary, or hi, Robert, I'm here, and I saw your website, you filled out these questions. Selling art online is what this is all about, right? Take you by the hand and walk you through the sales of building, the steps of making a strategy. Kickstarter is about raising money. We had someone on there from Kickstarter teaching that, how to contact celebrities, individuals to help you with your campaign. There's a course on time management, right? Like, how do you do all this stuff and make art? There's a way to do it, without spending tons of time on this. Taxes and financial planning, right? Nobody wants to do that, but there's special tricks for artists so you can get a little more out of your taxes wherever you are. Art theory and essential reading. There's also books to read and discuss, which will give context to your work and help with writing about your work. Like the Whitney Independent Study Program. That's essentially what they do for artists to launch their careers. Certain books, certain ways of thinking, certain lectures by certain, individuals in the art world, which we have in Praxis Center. So with these industry tactics, you go from, I give up, I'm going to paint in obscurity, to, wow, this is cool. I'm getting commissions and sales in as little as 1 year. But that's not all. You also get expert lectures from different people, residencies, private dealers, grant writers, and a New York gallerist. This is how it works. People are asking questions. And these are the kind of lectures on everything from, collaboratives to blogging, guest blogging, hanging a show, how artists become curators, conversations with patrons. We're always having more like this. And these are our experts that are essentially mentors that, you can ask them questions. You can ask them anything from website technicalities and sales funnel issues to extremely practical questions like what sturdy, safe box should I use to ship my art? And it's not just the experts that answer. There's a community of artists that are like, oh, I use this, I use this. Oh, you're in the Ukraine, I use this. You're in Serbia, I use this. Oh, you're in US, I use this. I mean, amazing how helpful the artists are. But there's also the round table. That's every week we have a live class with someone that's a curator, collector, dealer. And that's that they're there for the first 30 minutes. The second 30 minutes is open coaching. You can ask me anything live and you'll meet other members. There's also private access to an editor, right? Who will personally edit your bio after you follow the instructions on how to just structure it. And this bonus is particularly popular among people, but don't take my word for it. This is what David has to say. Thanks for your editing help and suggestions for my bio and statement. It made a difference. I've just been accepted into Coastal, a group show. Morgan said the same thing. Wow, your quick response helped me enormously on how to write my artist statement. You helped break down that intimidating wall before me about writing this, and it doesn't seem so bad. And in this case, Lou almost lost, a lot of money in Europe because they were about to take a deal from a gallery that was a pay-to-play situation. And maybe some of them are okay, but this one wasn't. This would have been costly and humiliating, really. So there's always feedback there. Grant and residency list, you get the first ones every month. There's a private Facebook group, and you can also, access me outside that group. But you get access to a community of artists, and you won't feel isolated. There's teachers, there's other members. So it's practical, but there's also emotional support, right? Everyone's going through this together, and that helps you thrive as an artist, because without a support system, it's nearly impossible to be an artist, right? Van Gogh had Theo. What do you have? So you also get copies of my book, Making It in the Art World, as well as others. And the biggest one, from the VIP edition, if you want to be a very important artist, is the Patrons and Sponsors course, which is the first thing I started teaching. And this course is about how to raise money from individuals, patrons, and sponsors. And that course has raised over $200,000 already. Again, it was the first course I taught, and it was really about bringing in money. And in that course, the professional editor there is me. I edit those letters, so you can keep getting these answered, and they worked. And if you're not sure what to read into a response, you can ask me. I answer those questions. And again, it was like I was showing you before. It's through a video.
So as I was saying,
I give you
can either post your comments there.
Hey, Larry, thanks for.
That's how I respond to you, right? It's me addressing you by name and giving you feedback. You also get access to all my future books ahead of the public, digital review copies, just like the art critics and curators in Authors Inner Circle. So this all amounts to quite a bit of money, right? Quite a bit less than college, but over $6,000 a year. But I'm not charging you anything like that, not even a quarter of that, and giving you much more value and results. But there is a catch. You can only get this within the next few days. After that, the price goes back to full. But right now, you can get Praxis Center membership for $595 a year, or just $59 a month. You get access to all this as part of your Praxis Center. It's the only program on earth that gives you everything you need in one place. I'm not going to read what's on the slide because we covered that. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you try this and you don't like it, I want you to have your money back. I want you to be thrilled here. You get it all instantly and start using it within the next 60 seconds and start seeing results immediately. And if all this system does is give you the freedom to be, do, or live the way you desire, or get you from toiling away in obscurity to getting peer recognition, right? And commercial success you deserve, or allow you to break free from paying for a show and not selling art, would you agree that $59 a month is a tiny price to pay? It's almost insignificant when you think of how just one sale or grant would justify it. As Misty said, this is the first course I've paid for that's worth its weight immediately. It has paid for itself like a dozen times already. And given everything you get inside Praxis Center membership, it really is an insignificant fee. So you have three options at this point, right? You can choose to hire a high-priced consultant, pay them thousands with no guarantees. You can choose to do it on your own with no help. And then there's the dreaded silence of a sales strategy that's not working. So the choice is yours. You know, now is your time to check this out. I should remind you that there is zero risk for you to try this, zero negative consequences. You can buy without worrying about losing your money because we offer 30-day guarantees and your dignity. I'm not going to shame you for refunding. So you can do what Jonathan did. So you can overcome what Crystal overcame. So you can have support like Jeannie Motherwell. This is your chance. And now is your time. I want to thank you guys for attending. And I also want to give you a bonus here because I'm often asked, who are these people at the live weekly classes? These are some of the curators you'll meet. Linda Dowry is chief curator in North Carolina Museum of Art, works largely with sculpture. Pavel Pish, which at least one student connected with and talked to from the Walker Art Center. Seymour Politan is a curator in LA. Molly Casey talked to all of us. She's an art consultant. She literally buys work for corporations. And that's what she does. Like, doesn't buy work outright. She matches up your work with a corporation and can buy everything from a few pieces to many pieces. Andy Campignon talked about just about how to reach curators. She is a curator herself. And
don't send a PDF. Send it in the mail, printed.
You know, gives a lot of very straightforward tactics, as they all do. Wendy Posner is also a consultant, works with residencies and hotels, is open. You know, Kara Lewis is works with a nonprofit and more. Eva Respini was just there. She's the curator of ICA and the Venice Biennial. She's been leading the vision of ICA Boston Museum since 2015, and she's the curator and co-commissioner of the U.S. Pavilion Simone Lee presentations for the 59th Biennial. Before that, she was the curator of the Museum of Modern Art. She's in the round table. She was just there a few weeks ago. Everyone's asking her questions. She's breaking down the whole process of how artists get into these institutions. It's amazing, you know, and everyone's like that. So, you know, that's what's in Praxis Center every week. I want to thank you guys for attending. I have the gifts that I'd say I'd give you to the end, which is both the download of a book on this button here, and I want to thank you again for being here today. It's been a pleasure being with you guys. For all those that are joining, I look forward to seeing you in Praxis Center, and you'll notice that if you do join today after this, you'll get a personal video from me saying your name, so you know it's not like a canned video. I'm going to wave and say your name and give you a little support about just beginning. So again, I want to thank you all so much for being here today. I look forward to getting to know you if you're a member of Praxis Center, and if you're not, I wish you well with your art practice.